Hello, welcome to the All or Nothing podcast. Our official sponsors are KR Couriers and Transport Limited. This is a Northwest based courier company delivering all across the UK. They can assist in home moves and removals to large, heavy and bulky items, collections and drop-offs. Fast, safe and reliable deliveries. Please get in touch for a free quote. You'll find all the information within the description. Thank you. Hello everybody, welcome to the All or Nothing podcast with myself, Billy Moore, and today's special guest is Craig Cavanagh. Now Craig, thanks for coming on.
Anytime.
You've done a few podcasts before, so this is not your first rodeo, is it?
No, this is number 5.
Is it?
Yes.
Wow. Tell us a little bit about yourself so the audience gets to know who you are.
I mean, whenever anyone asks that question, I always feel like I'm just like a regular person. Like, I work hard and I'm from Walton, originally County Road, and doing well for myself now. You know, I've got one of further. I'm well into my fitness. Doing quite well on some podcasts. Some of the little clips have gone viral, which have been quite funny. But it's good to sit down and sit with someone who's like doesn't know anything about me and just wants to just sit down and get to sort of know a little bit more about me. Running Masons in Liverpool at the minute. And that's about it. I mean, there's not much more else I can tell you. There probably is. Yeah. I mean, I've got a song out at the minute as well with Tommy Mack from Indie Radio. He's remixed a song of mine, which is like 10 years old.
So you like an artist in a sense you can sing songs?
And write, yeah.
Oh, and write them as well?
Yeah.
So, okay, just a quick, a brief history about you growing up. What was it like growing up? Because I know, right, it's probably going to be like a really difficult county road, you know.
Do you know what?
Tough, known for it to be a tough area in Liverpool. You've got like, you're going up towards Rice Lane, you've got all these areas connected, you know what I mean?
Do you know what was mad for me? It was we've got a big massive family and the majority of my dad's side live in Walton, some of my mum's. So growing up was boss living in Walton. I loved it, but it did start to change as I got to like 10, 11, and my mum and dad moved us away from there to like give us like a better start. Like the very working class people worked themselves to death to sort of give us the best. They moved us to Mellon. Nice area. Unfortunately, it didn't make my behaviour any better, which was they were hoping for. But growing up in Walton for me wasn't too bad. But I know when we moved away, that was when it was sort of changed. It went a little bit. What's the word? It was, it was a little bit rougher and a little bit, things weren't as, like, how can I say it? Summer in '96 was probably my best memory of growing up, where it was the summer, the late nights, it was still sunny out and you'd sit on the doorstep with talking to the neighbours until like dead late at night, and it come to a point where it was getting different. And I love Walton, by the way. I would never, it's always going to be the place I was born there, grew up there, but things did change and they sort of moved us out of there. But it wasn't too bad for me. But I've heard obviously that horror stories of like some people growing up there and they didn't have like the best. I don't know, the best circumstances around them, so they went down the wrong path, and sort of I was kind of lucky. I kind of avoided that to a sense. I mean, we all have them times where you get into the wrong crowd and stuff, but I mean, I think when I got into the wrong crowd where we lived up in Mellon, I don't think it was as bad as it would have been if I'd lived in Walton.
More or less Kirby, Mellon, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit further away from there. We were in the middle of loads of fields. It was like a brand new build where my mum still lives there now. So it wasn't too bad. Now it's full of houses, but now Kirby and Mellon are like basically touching. But back when we moved there, it wasn't that close to there then, but yeah.
It was like the Wilson of Liverpool.
It kind of was, yeah. It kind of was, but I mean, now it's just all joined together. There's that many houses and plots there now. It's all like the same place.
I had a brief look at because you always do. I don't like come like without any information whatsoever. I had a brief look about your background and stuff, and there was something about the LGBT community. You had to stand up for stuff, and going into bars and feel excluded and separate and different. Has that been something has that followed you all your life? Because it's obviously, you know, how old are you now?
37 years young.
You don't need young, you're a baby. Look at now.
I'm a cougar now. That's what I always say.
So you've had to go through life, you know, obviously, you know, feeling maybe different from others, especially because you're in the minority at a young age. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Growing up, I know because of my nephew. You know what I mean? He's very camp. He's a lovely kid, and we never thought he'd ever, you know, be gay. Seriously, and that kid kicked off my brother, right? Flipped on him because he was a man and he's macho and all that, and he just didn't understand. Now they're the best of mates.
Yeah.
But at the time, it was all like, no, because he was his uncle. So, you know, I had to get that in there because I'm going to say our Connor is absolutely fucking amazing.
Yeah.
You know, he's a lovely kid. But I knew from his own family, you know, the hardships that he was getting. You know, how was it for you?
For me, I mean, I was lucky. I mean, don't get me wrong. People obviously said so. Most people knew before me. I actually pretended I wasn't, just to try and fit in. But I always, it's funny that you say that because I was talking to someone the other day and I was like, it was always like it felt like I was from the outside looking and I never quite knew where I belonged. Like my lab mates were straight, they still are now, the majority of them. And I had a lot of girl mates, but so I kind of never knew where I kind of fitted in, but I was never totally excluded because people
You sort of blended it.
Yeah, I blended it for a bit. I mean, people still knew, but because I wasn't as maybe forthcoming as some people who are gay like me, it wasn't that bad. But I mean, I am very vocal when it comes to LGBTQ, but I do it in the sense of like, I'm gay, but like I do it my way. Like I don't. There's no blueprint that I follow. There's no. I should do this because of the gay people are doing it. Like I've got my own thing, and I'm very, very, very lucky, especially at this age. Like I won the LGBTQ Hospitality Awards in 2022 for Alma de Cuba when I worked there, and that meant a lot to me. Like because it's hard. Like everything I've ever achieved, I've had to work twice as hard as everyone else because I'm gay. It's been like I've had to point to prove. And I've always worked harder than most people because I'm like, if I don't work this hard, and I'll drop the and I drop the ball. Is that the saying? Drop the ball. Yeah. Someone else will come in and super from me. Like I always feel like nothing's ever been like totally promised, and that's a little bit sad. But I think it's gave me a good work ethic, and my mum and dad gave me, they gave me a really good work ethic. But when I came out to them as gay, like my mum was a bit more shocked and like. She was like, "Oh, it's because you're in it's because you're doing all performing arts and you're doing this and that." And I was like, "All right, Maria," and then I told my dad, and he was like, "I couldn't love you more." And my mum had a little bit of a fallout about it. And then, I mean, I'm a mummy's boy. Like she's sound about it now. She was sound about 3 weeks later. It was the shock, and I was like, "How didn't you know?" And but I think it was because I used to have that many girlfriends, and then I used to pretend I was straight, and it was. It was as my dad used to say when he was here. It is what it is, and I've been very blessed to end up in the position and with the platform and the limelight, if you will, that I've kind of got now, because at this age, I'm doing better now in my 30s than I was in my 20s. So I think it's when you find who you are and you're like, no, this is me. Like I think I made a comment about something with regards to like, I wouldn't get married, and you're like, well, you should support this, you're gay, you're like us, and I'm like, no, I do support it, I just wouldn't get married, it's just not for me. And I feel like because I've always been that type of person where I've gone, well, you can do that, but I don't feel like I've got to do that, or I've got to say that, or I've got to do the Pride March, or I've got to, like I performed at Gay Pride once in 2013 and I didn't do the march, and people like frowned upon it, and I was like, I don't need to march down the road to show that I'm gay. I know I'm gay. I don't need to wear
big flamboyant feathers and stuff.
That's not me. Don't get me wrong. There's a time and place for everything, but that's just not my. It's not my time and place. I've got my own way of being extrovert. Like I do like mad things. Like I done on me. Which birthday was it? I think it was me 36th birthday. I got like 2 balloons. Like I done my second 18th, and I done like. This funny like ass picture on Instagram, and it got like 1,000 likes, and that's probably like the way I get. I'm like cheeky, but not no pun intended, but
Yeah.
not like not like the. I don't have to walk
Not
around
in your
with
face.
not around with the rainbow flag. I
Yeah.
I don't have to do it, and I don't want to. I just
Yeah.
are you gay? Yeah.
But you know
That's it.
what, right? I follow a lot of stuff on Twitter, but recently, I'd say in the past few months, it's like it's been a lot about the LGBTQ. Is it the transgender movement as well now?
That's what the
Right.
T stands for. I think.
It's so, but there's a bit more to it with there's a lot of controversial kind of like arguments, and it provokes a conversation when people post like, why should this man or this guy who's dressed as a woman go into these schools with these books and
I disagree with that.
yeah,
Totally.
and something which is quite we're changing the sex, right, of young kids without their consent, in a sense, right? So there was a lot of that, and it gets there's a lot of like people with massive platforms. I'm talking like hundreds of thousands, even in the millions, who are sharing this stuff, and people are reposting it. It's not on Twitter no more. It's called X.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
I don't know
So,
why they changed that.
I don't know why. Yeah, but it's like, so I kind of like it's very fucking political. Twitter, I'll still call it that. I put a post up, and I got fucking targeted for it because I was it was just something to do with fucking asylum seekers and immigration and my thoughts, and I was standing up for something that I believed in, and it wasn't like I wasn't like putting anyone down. It was just an observation, and I read the factual evidence, that information, and boom, I had 50% calling me this and I had 50% support me. I was like, fuck, let's just delete the fucking thing. I can't be arsed.
You've got every right to have that opinion about it, and we live in this world now where it's sadly evolved into a place where you can't have a freedom of speech.
Yeah.
Now that's the one
pisses me off, that great.
That's the one thing I've always like. The one things I've always had to me credit is that I've always spoke my mind, no matter what the consequences were. And now you'll get cancelled or you'll get shamed for doing it. For instance, Anthony Fowler, hi Anthony Fowler if you're watching, love Anthony Fowler. He posted something about a fella who used to be a swimmer, and he was 538, don't like quote me on that, and then he had a sex change and he became first in the women's, and I put underneath, like, I don't care if anyone, I can't remember the exact things I said, but I put, I don't care if anyone thinks I'm a cunt or something like that, but this is wrong, because to me, like, it shouldn't happen. And someone wrote underneath to me, like, loads of people liked the comment and agreed with me, and then some people wrote underneath, you're in that LGBTQ thing because you're gay, and I was like, that is good. That's like calling a potato like a piece of cheese. It's completely different. Like, my observation of that is they can do what they want with the body, but they should not compete with women. Yeah. Because no matter what, it's just not a fair. It's not a fair.
Biologically, like the strength wise.
And I'll get hated for saying this, and it's that's just my opinion. Like, I'm happy with anyone doing whatever they want with the body, whether they want to change it, chop it, they want to change the way they look at them to get a nose job. I'm completely happy. Whatever makes you happy, as long as you're not hating anyone, is sound. But that, I don't think it's fair. It's like putting a snake next to a rabbit and telling it to run.
I appreciate that, Craig, because I was quite looking forward to like a general discussion about different things that I've seen and getting your opinion and your views. And because I can sit here, right, and I'm totally like on the sidelines on a lot of things. I've got to be. Right, I can't be like supporting this, supporting that, and then saying this and have no integrity, because it doesn't work like that. I like, someone brought my brother into it because he's got autism, and I do a lot with our Joe on Twitter and social media because
I've seen that. It's lovely.
He's involved in life, you know what I mean? And wherever he goes, people stop me and go, "How's your Joe?" They don't go, "How's you?" But I'm not asked because it's not about me. I'm providing a service for him, and he goes out and people stop him and they get pictures with him, and he fucking loves it, you know what I mean? Whereas before, he was sat on a couch at home, afraid to get the fucking bus to work because he was getting bullied and getting called a mong by people on the bus, school kids. They were very, very cruel, and I shared a post that went viral, and a lot of people in Liverpool, around the UK, and in fact worldwide, got behind him and supported him, and we done a lot of things, but then I've got a big platform, so I'll share other things. It's not just about our Joe.
No.
It's quite diverse. But like you said, you can't have a voice I can't share something without being called either a racist or I'm judgmental or I'm a fucking, you know, there's the isms come in.
No.
You can't say that. Well, why can't I?
You can't call a table these days without getting sued. You know, the table
it's
to
fucking
you.
shit.
So it is shocking the way it's gone, and especially for us Scousers, because I'm so proud to be from where I'm from. I love everything about from this city, and I love how we're working class, and I love how we've always gone against the grain and we've never followed anyone. And for us to be now, we're not allowed to speak the way we've always spoke, just that honestly, openly, say it, then move on. It is sad to see that happening. Like.
It is, and like, you know, you got the old school Scousers as well, and I've had a few on my podcast, and we do the comedians, they're just old school, and a queer's a queer, they say that, you know, gay and gay, you know what I mean? He's black and that. Now, right, you do a podcast with them, and then you've got to go, oh, you can't say that, like, what the fuck, what do you mean? You know, so it's like, they've got to compromise their own, everything about their identity to suit maybe the minority or the odd one or two people who comment and go, that was a bit out of order, that Bill, I don't like what he had to say there. And I think, yeah, you can't be yourself, Craig. And I like the fact that you've shared honestly, and you've shared, look, I don't have to, because I believe in something that I believe in for myself, doesn't mean I have to, you know, swim upstream with everyone.
No.
You know, to prove a point.
And do you know what? It's so funny you say that. I was having a conversation with someone the other day, and we were talking about when you are at the top of your game or the top of the tree or whatever. Like, so I'm like the general manager of a place, or if you or whatever it is. It's a very lonely place there, and you know, to speak out is a big thing, because you end up being the villain and the victim in the same way, no matter what way. It's like, what was that song? If I go, there will be trouble. If I stay, there will be double. It's the same. It's that same type of thing where you can't do right for doing wrong. Yeah,
you can't win for losing.
And when you're at the top of your game, and at the top of the tree is a very lonely place, and you know you're a victim to be in. You shouldn't be saying that, because you're in that world, whatever world they think it is. I just still think I'm a normal person with a couple of people who watch what I say, and some people agree, some people don't, but you do get penalised, and you're the one who gets highly strung, and you know, or hung by or strung up because of having an opinion and being honest. And I think it is sad.
It is, mate. It's fucking shit. It's like, you know, I've there's loads of things that I want to say. I really do, and I can only say it in the company of my partner, because, you know, she doesn't judge and I don't judge, and it's like
old school.
It's just like, she's just, you know, but you've got to like sort of, like you said, you get cancelled. I lost like over 300 followers on Twitter because of one post I put on.
Just because of
one post. Like, I've got them back, by the way, thanks. Like, different people cleared out the fucking rubbish, basically.
It's like Cavanagh. Everyone seems to just be getting it now. Like, everyone's so offended by everything. And, you know, do you remember Little Britain? Like,
I was watching it the other night.
I loved it. And do you know what? I think back to the stuff they said and done on there. No one batted an eyelid, and that was what? Was that even 15 years ago?
Not even that long ago. I was watching it the other day where he was dressed up. He blacked all his face, and he was like a Jamaican woman.
I remember that.
Yeah, and he was going. It was fucking hilarious. And then you've got a Ting Tong. You know what I mean?
Ting Tong, and then there was Anne, the woman when he threw the. She had like. Just throw stood like the bread at the.
And I'm not a man. The fella who's dressed up. I'm a lady. Yeah. So fucking brilliant.
But you couldn't do that now. You couldn't have a TV show like that now.
Oh, so you're David Williams, and what's the little fella's called? Fucking.
Oh, is it Matt something?
Matt Lucas.
That's
he's both of them together.
Comedy gold.
Yeah, I bumped into David Williams in fucking Alton Towers and got a picture with him. It's fucking. I don't know. I don't really get pictures.
I'd love to have met him. I've always followed whatever he's done. He's
quite friendly. You know what I mean? He stopped and he spoke to the kids, and he had a picture with us, and it was just really nice. You know what I mean? And then I bumped into Idris Elba in Liverpool, and only because me missus followed, like, she loves fucking like Luther and that, and I went, any money we'll bump into him, because I knew he was on set somewhere. We were just taking a baby to get his birth certificate, and she went, whatever. And he walked out this door right in front of us, and I went, no way, there he is. What's happening, Idris? And he went, oh, all right. And what's your man, did we get a picture? He went, no, mate, I'm in costume. got to go. I just stood there feeling the rejection, thinking, you fucking cunt. You're in costume. I know. I've been on fucking sets. I fucking worked with Stallone, lads. I fucking know. He had pictures with him when he was in costume. So it was like a moody one, that. Yeah, but anyway, I got really sensitive on that one.
What was it like working with Stallone?
Amazing. I grew up watching...
One of the biggest stars in the world, by the way. Like, I remember when I growing up watching.
I watched Rocky growing up and Rambo, and as you do, because I was a kid from the 80s, and you know, and then I gets casted for this role in whilst I was in Thailand, which I couldn't believe. I didn't believe it was going to happen. Next thing, I'm working with him for months on end. I was in his trailer with him. I was a stunt stand-in for him. He couldn't understand the words I was saying, and he was never out of character. That was something that...
We couldn't understand the words he was saying either.
Yeah,
You couldn't understand him on the thing, but my dad used to love Rambo.
That was probably my claim to fame, and I fucking rolled on the back of that for a long time, you know what I mean? Because, you know, I was just a young kid, and I believe that, you know, when you're like, you're not used to like social media come a bit later for the likes of myself and yourself, you know, we grew up and kids, we didn't have it. You're at an age where like Nintendos and stuff like that, there was no
64.
Yeah,
I never had the, what was the other one called?
Sega Mega Drive.
I never had the Sega. I was always a Nintendo.
If you're 37, give or take, right, you know, so I'm a few years older than yourself, like I'm fucking 50 now, so I was a little bit behind, I'd say, but yeah, the internet didn't come out at a certain time, you know.
I think it was about...
You're about 85, aren't you?
I'm 85, exactly.
Yeah, 85, so yeah.
It was about 96, 97, because I went to secondary school in 97, and that was when it just came out, I think.
Yeah, so you're a kid of like that era, you know what I mean? Kids today, they go to fucking school with them. They got
when it was DSL and you had to plug it in and take the phone line out.
Yeah, now it's fucking... They walk around with an iPad with fucking Wi-Fi everywhere. So yeah, it's when you get... you know, like you said, you're now, your platform's bigger than what it was when you're 20s and you know, it's gone massive. You go viral, you don't realise how viral you go, especially with the likes of TikTok and Instagram Reels and, you know, all the social media that's out there. Same with myself, you know, I've done many podcasts, I've done many fucking documentaries, there's been a movie, there's been a lot of limelight on me, and it's in early days, it was like burning a candle at both ends. Yeah, I'd get 1,000 followers in one day. I was thinking, what the fuck going on here? Like, wow, you know, on Facebook, and then I'd look at me DMs, and it'd be, you know, messages from everywhere around the world, and it was like, what do I do? I answered them all. You know, it was fucking horrendous, and you know, now I don't fucking. You learn pretty.
You can't.
You know, you can't. No.
You can't, especially because obviously you work as well. You're always at something, and it's also almost like you need someone there to be able to manage that side of things for you. But I think it's probably better when you're in the situation that we're in, where it's just real and it's not like you haven't got to be pretending. You haven't got to. No. When you catapult into like that different fame, I think it just becomes you do become a bit of a puppet sometimes. Yeah. Unless you're like people like, you know, like Molly. Yeah. I know Molly very well, and she, you know, she just speaks up. She doesn't care what she says, but she's in like a different league to what I'm talking about. You know, she's like super fame. Yeah. But I don't know. It is a mad thing sometimes to think that something you could say could influence someone in a bad way or a good way. Yeah,
I talk a lot about like my personal addiction. You know, and you know, I was involved in drugs for many years, and then, you know, the consequences of prison and institutions, and, you know, desperation and shame and guilt, and your family's just kind of like, fucking hell, I've had enough of him, and when are you going to stop, and what's up? My mum used to say to me, when are you going to stop? And I go, yeah, you know, are you going to stop? I go, yeah, I am. When? I will soon. What's up with you? I don't know. And it used to be, I will, I am. I know. What, you know, and I was like, I never knew, and I was never going to stop, you know, and because I didn't have any fucking understanding of it, I didn't have any awareness, I didn't have any guidance. When I did get to a point where I had to surrender and I hit rock bottom, and I had to make that decision, you know, there was something called recovery. I was like, fucking hell, what's that about? You can't use drugs ever, Bill. You tell me, full blown addict, you've got to maintain abstinence. I was like, fuck off. what kind of bevy is that, abstinence? No, it means teetotal, Bill. And I went, like, I've nothing. You mean nothing at all? They went, yeah. You can't fucking live your life, right, without, like, having something or other, and then it grows into something else. It's got to be all or nothing, hence the podcast title. So, yeah, you stop. It's fearful because you think, fucking hell, I can have a bevy, but I can't, because it's a gateway drug for me.
Yeah, because you get from one to the other.
Anything I take, I've got an allergic reaction, boom, I break out on fucking more drugs. So I don't use, and I haven't done for a long time. And I share my experience on my reels, and you know, people message me and go, you know, it's inspiring. It's, you know, me talk to my son or someone who's affected by it themselves personally. You know, DM me and say thanks, and I always make the effort to get in touch and say, look, I wish you well and I appreciate your message. Yeah, stay strong. Something of acknowledgement. At least if you acknowledge someone and go, you know what, it shows.
Means the world to
it
them.
does. It means, because it did to me.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen people who got blue ticks, Craig, and I've messaged them and he's just seen it and then blanked you. You know what I mean? I think, the fuck do you think you are? Where do you think you are in Hollywood? Look, stop it. You know, it's, you're no different from anyone on the planet. Just because you're a little bit more, you've got more people following you, and, you know, but then you get your understanding, as you do get a fucking following, that it is difficult to respond to everyone, you know.
It's only that though, but you don't realise how many people, like, you're helping as well, like, especially with the stuff that you've posted about. Like, you don't know who's watched that and gone, do you know what? Like, I'm gonna turn my life around. I'm gonna make this shit happen. I'm gonna call it a day with that, and I'm gonna turn my life back around. Like, and I can remember posting one about when my dad died, and I was like honest about it and how much it like broke me, and I put weight on at the time, and then when I turned my life around in that way, and I've really got into fitness, and you know, I've done really well now. I'm fitter than I've ever been, and people go, like, that's inspiring to me, and I go, do you know what, that's such a nice thing to read. Like, for me, like, posting it saved me. But then if it just touches even just one person, you've done your job.
Yeah, definitely.
Even just one, you know what I mean? And that's the most important thing. And I think that's why, I think that's the side of social media that I like, is when you can read and someone connects to you and they're like, I've felt the same way.
Yeah,
you know?
I've had, yeah, I agree, mate. And I've had some horrible fucking DMs, mate. And I've had to fucking, you know, I've had a comment on a post about me brother saying, oh, you're just using him for views. And I think, are you fucking for real? One, I've read 2 books, right? And I've fucking had a movie, I've had all kinds of fucking documentaries, I've had a platform for fucking years. Joe come into my life and then I involved him into, you know what I mean? You don't know none of that, right? So I reacted at one point and fucking got his message, went to his date instead and rang him.
Yeah.
I was arguing with this Scouse kid as well. You fucking maggot, I said, you fucking little, where are you? And then I felt terrible about it, because he's a fucking allowed that opinion. He's allowed to say what he has to say. I just didn't like where he'd put it, you know what I mean? I'm very reactive, and instead of just dealing with it, I go, oh, I was having a bad day, and I reacted, and it did. It fucking made me feel a bit shit, to be fair.
We all have them. I'd be exactly the same way when it's your family.
And it wasn't about Joe, it was about me as well. He wasn't, to be fair, I don't know if he watches this, don't know who he is, but he wasn't making a comment about him personally. He was making a comment about me, and I took that personal, and then I reacted, you know, and I felt a little bit hurt and fucking, you know, trying to defend me own honour, when, you know, I've learned over the years, and I've got an awareness where, you know, lies, right, and truth, right. So a lie, you know, you don't have to defend a lie. The truth defends itself, you know, and I've always believed that. So you hear these people going, no, they're all trying to defend, but in reality, you go, move on, take care, you know.
Yeah, I think that's probably the best way, but I mean, you're only human. I think anyone in the right mind does react the same way if someone said that to us, especially because, you know, it comes from a pure place. I think I'd probably do the same. Yeah, that's good job he wasn't close to you, wasn't it? Good job he never said it in, like, face to face.
No, I don't think people like they would. To be fair, it's more like that's where people can hide. People can hide behind the screen, and you know, and he fucking bought me, and he didn't have nothing since, and I just blocked him, and I thought, oh, fuck off, you know. And on reflection, and when I done like an inventory of a night, I thought, why did you react? What was going on? What was the feelings behind it? You know, and then I realised that there was a lot of contributing things that were going on through the day. A little argument there, you know, falling out with that one, and turning up late to this appointment, and fucking, you know, feeling a little bit under pressure and stressed out. And then it's like a squirrel collecting nuts. You know, you've got to fucking collect so many, then, you know, you're just full and you spit them broken out. Yeah, so I cracked. But yeah, this is the life, and for anyone who's, well, yourself as well, who's doing things that are proactive and getting out there, you're going to become a target. You know, you put yourself on a platform. A friend of mine said this: you put yourself on a platform and you will become a target.
But the funny thing is with me is, like, I've always loved the limelight, but you know when you've always kind of been a target. Yeah. It was like, this is nothing to me. Yeah, it's just like from one pond to the other. So, and this pond's better than the other one because at least I'm gaining something personally out of it, and, like, you know, I'm living a good life, and I'm doing what I want to do rather than just being a target in the other way. So it doesn't really bother me. Like, people have said things about me my whole life. I'm like, just if you don't know me, like, I went on a podcast once, and it was on Gary Hyland's podcast, and he got a phone call afterwards saying, I watched it and I thought he was going to be a stuck-up prick from the way his Instagram is. Like, I thought my Instagram was sound, but they were like, you know, we thought he was going to be pretentious, we thought he was going to be this, that and the other. And he rang me, he went to me, you know, it was so nice to hear that, and I wanted to just tell you. And I was like, I've had comments like my whole life where people think you one way or the other, or they think you're a gobshite, or they think you're this, you think you're that. And I'm like, everyone's going to have their own opinion. I always just say, you know, meet me, or have a bevy with me, or whatever. And then if you're still got the same opinion, then maybe I am, or maybe I'm not.
Yeah, but you've done a lot. Like, see, you're going to get them, but you've done. You know, you were telling me about, like, you know, your depression and how you've come out of it. When you mentioned your dad before, and you know, the weight you put on and how you've transformed your whole fucking body composition, right, and changed. Now, for anyone who's going through stuff like that, it's like it's a great motivator, and it's great for your self-esteem. And, you know, it's so easy to fucking sink into that abyss and that hole and get lost. And, you know, I feel that, like, for me, I get up and fucking train, because if I don't, my day is shit. It sets me up. I've done that all my life. It's like, and is that what's gone on for you? Is that you just thought, fuck this, I want to live a little here?
I remember. No, it was a coping mechanism for me. It was more like it was to mask what I was feeling. I was trying everything not to feel. And then he had, like, his first operation with it, and he was fine. And then he came back again. I ran away to Cyprus. I lived there for 9 weeks in the end, because I couldn't cope. I was just like, I need to go work on Bar Street there. I knew a family out, so I lived there for a bit. And then my mum rang my mum, and she was like, the second G's have, you know, they've gone. And I was like, you just have a feeling. And I went back, and they came back, and he was gone in a couple of months. So it was, for me, I remember after all that, I remember looking in the mirror and going, who is that? Like, you've never looked like this. You never let yourself go. And people were like, I didn't really notice. I didn't even see it that bad at the time. And I'm like, yeah, neither did I. And that was it. I was like, I'm not sitting in the biscuit tin anymore. Like, that was what had done it for me. And I thought, you know, I've got to take my life around now. And what was sad was that I've made better movements and as a human since he's died, because he died. And I wish he'd be here now to sort of say, oh my God, he's grown, you know, he's done this, he's done that, he's done so many things that, you know, he probably thought he'd never do. And it's just a shame that I never had that push when he was still here. And it was a shame that it took that to do it. But yeah, I mean, that was a dark time. I didn't, you know, you never really get over it. It's just, you know, there's always a void there, and, you know, there's just something you just need your dad for. And I'm the oldest. I'm the eldest. I'm the eldest of three. So it was like, oh, it's all on me now. Like, not all on me, but it's like, you know, you're the next in. You know, you're the next in line. You've got to kind of look out for people. And I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready to not have a dad yet. I was only 30 when he went. So just before I was 31. So that was probably one of the hardest things in my life. but it has pushed me in a way. I wish I'd have pushed myself before. I wish I hadn't have took that to do it.
Yeah. That's sometimes things happen for a reason, in a sense where, you know, the intervention kicks in, and, you know, yeah, I had the same with my alpha, you know what I mean? I had a similar experience. I'd love to have known him, because he was fucking hard on me, you know, really tough. And I always, like, at the last of his years, I was just turning up. I was flat, just sitting there for an hour or two. No one said a word. I was just like, just being there, you know what I mean? He wouldn't say, all right, son, you're all right. All right, so he never showed any love or anything like that, you know what I mean? It was just, yeah, but he had his shit going on, and that was it.
But the fitness side of things now, I think that's helped me so much. It gave me, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, I wouldn't say motive. It's like, it's gave me discipline.
Yeah.
You know, something. I've always been like a loose wire, and I've never really been disciplined. I could never shut my mouth, could never do that. But fitness has gave me a discipline and a clarity that I've never had in my life, never. And I'm the most probably clear-minded, even though I'm probably not fully clear-minded, that I've ever been in my life. And I would say it's down to working out and, you know, looking after my body. And I still go out and have a bevy, and I still enjoy myself, but I'm still in that gym the next day, you know. Brilliant. And I love my life now, and I've never been fitter. I've never, so it's mad now, because I'm like, if I let this go now, I'm never going to get this level of fitness back. So I'm always chasing it now. So it's gave me something to do. It's gave me something to work for and be proud of. So
you are who you are. You know what I mean? And I like that. And you know, I know we're coming to the end now, and I always ask, you know, my guest, what would you say to young Craig Cavanagh, right, coming through the doors of life? If you seen yourself now as a pearl of wisdom you could offer yourself, you go, look, Craig, come here, mate, I want to have a little chat with you. What would you say?
Listen to your dad and your mum. Probably. There's so many things now, and then I sit with my mum and I go, do you know what? And she goes, oh yeah, you don't have to say I told you so. And I think I'd rather just listen to them a little bit more, and not been so carefree. And it's always good to be a wild spirit, but I think sometimes you do need to pull yourself back and just listen to people when they're telling you, because they've lived life more than you. And I think that's probably one of the other ones. And yeah, don't wear orange either. Yeah.
One thing I'd like to just end on is, like, I always this is just an informal chat. We just come in. There's nothing special about anyone, either of us, you know. Just two fucking, I'm gonna say, two young men.
We all shit the same. I always say it. We all still go
but it's just all the same. It's like it's real people with real stories. That's it. You've gone through, you know, your own mental health problems. You know, you've gone through, like, grown through life with them. You know, having to fucking feel different. You know, excluded, separate. You know, you've achieved so much. You manage fucking bars and fucking. You've got awards and everything. You've changed your body transformation. So, you know, you've gone through those dark times, and you've come out of it a shining fucking light, of beacon for others to fucking follow. So yeah, hands down, thank you very much. And, you know, I'll put all your description in the details. If you want to follow Craig Cavanagh, you can on Instagram. I'll put his Insta information on there, and any other. And thanks for coming on. I appreciate it.
Anytime, it's a pleasure.
A pleasure, myself.